Please introduce yourself and tell us why you're attending EMEX this year.
Okay, so I'm Simon Kendrew. I'm the Marketing and Commercial Director for the EV Solutions business as part of EQUANS. So we're here today to talk to the industry, to meet new partners, current partners, and hopefully some new customers as well.
And hi, I'm Dee. I'm the Director for EQUANS EV Solutions. It's my first EMEX event, which is fantastic. And what's been nice is just getting to know a little bit more about what's going on outside of the EV bubble, so sort of the overall commitment to net zero. So for me, it's about meeting people, but also learning a lot. Our EV Solutions business works on two fronts. So we have a public charging network, the GeniePoint network, that we own and operate, but we also design EV solutions for customers. So we'll turn up, have a long conversation with you about your needs, how you're going to approach EV, where you are on that journey, and then help you design a charging solution that works for you. And the reason we have those two sides is because when we talk about charging infrastructure, you're not always at the office, you're not always on the road, but it's about kind of having charging where you need it, when you need it. So for us, it's that sort of holistic approach.
How are the UK's EV infrastructure and adoption currently developing?
So we're at a really exciting time for the industry. We're seeing significant growth year on year, and that is accelerating as we go through. So really exciting time. I think it's fair to say that there is work for the industry to continue to do. So as we're doing within EQUANS, we continue to grow our public charging network and support drivers when they're out on the road. We're also doing a lot of work with customers increasingly operating fleets and workplaces where they want to start making that transition to electric vehicles, and we're there to support them. So what we're seeing is an increasing number of our customers asking us where to start, so to start that transition, but then really excitingly, they'll then come back to us very quickly around how can they continue to expand their networks and add some of the new services and features that we're building in to make that transition easier for them and their organisations.
Absolutely, and I think for me, you'll see 100 forecasts about how much EV infrastructure we need, and the only guarantee is that probably all of them are wrong, but the bit that's right is that we need more, right? We all know we need more, we don't all agree on how much more that might be. But certainly for commercial fleets, the issue used to be finding a charger near you. Now it's finding a charger near you that's available, because as the EV uptake is increasing, you want surety of supply. Used to be charger anxiety, now it's charger availability anxiety. So I think it's on companies like us, on those commercial CPOs, to really start to aggressively roll out additional chargers. And I think we've been guilty in the past of putting a single charger at each location. Well, that's okay in the early days of EV, but as EV availability is ramping up, you don't want to get to that charger and find you waiting an hour and a half for the person in front of you to finish. So there's a lot to do with the existing locations that we've got, but there are also still charging deserts across the UK that we all need to address collectively.
What is needed for electricity generation and draw to supply this expansion?
I think energy flexibility and demand side response are going to be huge, and I don't think there is one solution to that problem. I think there will be sites that are suitable for on-site generation, which is great because it takes some pressure off. I think there are sites where we'll need to load balance what we've got available. Battery technology is enormously useful because obviously you can trickle charge and then discharge when you need it. But it is a mix of technologies that will get us where we need to be. And I think we're seeing the government becoming increasingly aware of that, with things like the smart charging regulations coming in, where we know actually not everybody's going to suddenly start charging at 7 PM and everybody's lights go off. And it's a bit like the tea break in EastEnders or Coronation Street, isn't it, when everyone switches on their kettle and you get that surge. So I do think it's on CPOs like ourselves to work with the government and find a way to expand what we need, but in a way that will reach the right levels and make sure that nobody's sitting there with their fridge going off because they're charging their car.
In the autumn budget, it was announced that zero-emission vehicles will lose their road tax exemption from April 2025. What effect might this have?
So I think we all sort of knew it was coming. It was great having the tax exemption because obviously it's an added bonus to get people into an EV. Did I think it was coming this soon? Probably not. I thought it was probably in another couple of years or so. But honestly, when you talk to EV drivers, a lot of them have ended up in an EV because it was their work car, but actually they've fallen in love with it and they'll carry on. And a lot of EV drivers that you speak to aren't doing it because there's a tax exemption, they're doing it because it's the right thing. So I think overall people will make the jump. It might delay a few people who are sort of that sort of more price conscious piece. I think the majority of people don't make the jump for tax reasons.
Are EV users concerned whether their electricity source is low carbon?
So a lot of the early EV adopters, they fall into two camps. They're either fleet, at which point they've been given the EV, and they may or may not be conscious around the source of energy, or the early adopters have done it because they're very energy conscious, because they're carbon conscious. And quite a lot of the time what we see is the large population of those personal drivers, they are huge climate activists, right? They're also looking at home solar, at-home battery, and they'll jump all over any opportunity to reduce their carbon impact. And CPOs such as ourselves, and I know some of our other colleagues, we make a big deal of only using renewable energy at our public charge points. So, I think a lot of our customers are very, very conscious of that.